Ring cameras have become a vital tool for home security, capturing unsettling moments that often go unnoticed. From armed men lurking in the shadows to strangers creeping near your front door, these devices expose the alarming reality of dangers right outside our homes. The following videos contain some of the most chilling occurrences ever caught on camera. These are real-life stories you won't want to miss. In August 2019, a security camera caught a strange man in a home in Troy, Michigan. The man was seen creeping up the stairs, carefully looking around the house. Based on this behavior alone, it's clear that he didn't know his way around the home and was an intruder. The next part wasn't caught on camera but was narrated by the homeowner. She says the suspicious man walked into her bedroom, where she was deep in slumber, and suddenly, the man walked over to the bed, standing over her. She woke up screaming and shouting, prompting the intruder to make a quick dash out of the room in fear. She then proceeded to call the police. Despite the footage, the police were unable to find out who this man could have been. Like a goat, the man failed to learn from this incident. In October of that same year, he was caught by another Ring camera in a different home in Rochester Hills, Michigan. He was seen looking through a window after climbing onto the hot tub. I guess he found no possible way in and then proceeded to walk away from the place. The homeowner also reported this the next morning, but like before, he wasn't found. Now, about 3 months later, guess what? He's back again in the same area. He is seen looking intently into the window of a house in Bloomfield Township, hiding behind a tree as a means of cover. The homeowner then received a notification from his Ring camera, alerting him of the suspicious man's presence. Though this part wasn't shown, footage of the man walking along the side of the house was later released. But as always, he had successfully evaded the police. However, I guess luck wasn't really on his side this time around because in February 2020, a police officer spotted the man running from a residential area in Bloomfield, which was where he was last spotted on video. He was then arrested, issued a restraining order, and also forced to wear a GPS tether until his trial date. So, the identity of the man was finally revealed. His name is Donovan Johnson, a 27-year-old bankruptcy attorney. He was then put in jail, but later released on bond. There were no further captures of him on security cameras, showing he might have had a turnaround. This Ring camera in Overland Park captured footage of a huge active house fire at a neighbor's house just across the street. The video shows multiple members of the neighborhood moving their cars away from the house to avoid a very, very big disaster. As the video continues, a piece of debris is seen flying up from the house on fire and landing on a set of bushes just in front of the Ring camera's house. This created a disaster out of nowhere, as the bushes also burst into flames, with the fire spreading quickly and dangerously. Before anything more serious could happen, a neighbor noticed the fire, jogged over, and attempted to put it out. He used the garden hose to spray the fire while also trying to get the homeowner's attention. Unfortunately, the homeowner wasn't home. The homeowner activated the two-way speaker to inform his neighbor that he was on his way. The panicked neighbor couldn't hear this, but luckily, he was able to put out the fire. The Ring camera also captured a fire truck pulling up to save the day, putting out the fire at the neighbor's house. This video features an armed robbery caught on camera on May 8, 2022, in Houston, Texas. A 29-year-old man named Joshua DeLoach needed money for some reason and felt his best course of action was to rob his longtime roommate, Justin Emoji, with a gun. His roommate, confused about the sudden switch-up, kept asking Joshua what the issue was, but all Joshua kept saying was, "Get on your knees." After this, Joshua stole $6,000 worth of jewelry from Justin and also decided to kidnap him, tying the man up and forcing him into the trunk of a car. Later, news revealed that the reason for Joshua robbing his roommate was due to an altercation involving an automaton given to him by Justin. Thanks to the help of a bystander, Justin was able to escape, and Joshua was then arrested about 2 weeks later. This footage was taken from a Ring camera in the middle of the night at an apartment complex in Toledo. The Ring cam footage shows a man knocking on the door with what looks like a firearm concealed within his clothes. The owner of the apartment had never seen the man before in her life, and the fact that the man was also wearing a face mask made her question who it was. The unknown man responded with, "It's me." How could someone she hasn't seen before in her life just respond by saying, "It's me," raising even more suspicions? She then asked him to tell her who "me" is, but the guy just waved. He didn't give a verbal reply. This wasn't enough to make her open the door, so he walked off. However, as he was leaving, he made a sign, and a man in a nearby dumpster also stood up, and they walked off together. But this wasn't the end of it. They walked towards the back door and tried picking its lock. At this point, she had already called the police. They were unsuccessful in getting the door open, so they quit. By the time the police arrived, the men were nowhere to be found. An El Paso residence ring camera captures what initially seems like a woman in danger, running from someone or something. The woman then seeks help at the house in the middle of the night, but the actual situation is far worse than that. She knocked, scared and looking around, painting a picture of her being on the run from someone, crying and pleading for help at the entrance of the door. What seemed odd was the fact that she hid every time a car approached. So the main question remains: is she hiding from a particular person chasing her, or is she trying her best not to be seen by any passerby? As the car disappeared again, she went back to the door, knocking aggressively. As the neighbor's driveway light came on, almost immediately, a car's headlights is seen approaching from the right, and she casually proceeded towards the vehicle. Was there someone with her? Did she plan to cause harm to the homeowner? All these are questions left unanswered. A few months later, the El Paso police arrested a woman who was charged with multiple counts of burglary. The woman arrested was Krista Nicole Cordeaux, and she looks just like a carbon copy of the woman in the Ring Cam video. She was said to have faced a charge of entering a building illegally with plans to do something dangerous, which included harming the owners, damaging property, or stealing. Now, this leads me to believe her intentions that night were simply to deceive the owner into opening his front door with the purpose of stealing or harming him. Thankfully, the homeowner kept the door locked, ignored the knocking, and thanks to the heroic neighbor who just went to turn on his light, the homeowner was saved. In April 2021, Shea Bryan's Ring camera recorded a video at her home in North Carolina. The video features her 13-year-old son walking out of the house with the intention to walk their dog. The footage shows a silver BMW pulling up to the front of the house. A strange man then proceeds to get out of the car, approaching the young boy. The man comes up to the kid and asks a very confusing question. "Do you live here or anything?" The boy gives a confused reply, and the man asks again, "How long have you lived here already?" The mother later shared that she had taught her son about stranger danger, but it seems the kid was just frozen with fear. His question, "How long have you lived here already?" suggests that he had either been monitoring them for a while or was just a very confident threat. Fortunately, the boy's huge father came out, rescuing him from the situation and scaring the man away. The man then suddenly changed his question, asking about airplane noises. The father, knowing this made no sense, didn't budge upon hearing the ridiculous question. The suspect, now scared, got back into his car and drove off. He was never seen by that family again. This video is a glaring reminder that danger lurks around every corner and can come at any time, in any place. Being alert is something everyone should prioritize when going out or coming in. In this footage, a mother holding her child was being followed by a man, carefully trailing her from a distance. The man then begins to follow her more closely as she makes her way to her home. Her child is seen looking intently at something behind the mother, but this still wasn't enough to draw the mother's attention to what was going on behind her. As she closed the door, the man made a quick sprint toward it in an attempt to get in before she locked it, but it was already too late. He wasn't able to get into the house. If you look closely as the man was walking, you can see he drew up his mask, hinting that his intentions were not good from the very beginning. The mother only realized what had happened when she looked through the Ring footage later that day, almost immediately reporting it to the police. The police informed her that there had been a series of reports about a brutal and violent rapist in the area who had been targeting women and children. They believe that the man caught on the Ring cam footage is the actual rapist. But by a stroke of luck, the mother and her child were saved. This Ring camera footage was captured in Alberta, Canada, on October 16, 2018, around 1:35 p.m. The homeowner received a motion alert from his Ring camera, which was unusual and sudden, so he decided it was best to activate the live feed. A man dressed in a worker vest made his way to the door. He appeared to be knocking while looking intently into the peephole. His whole movement and composure seemed very suspicious. Initially, the homeowner thought nothing of it because the man was dressed like a utility or telecom worker. But this notion soon changed when the man began banging aggressively on the door. The man is then seen secretly pulling a glove out of his pocket, intending to avoid leaving fingerprints on the door handle once he concluded that no one was home. He then motioned for his buddy to come to the door, and that's when the main problem began. They were fully geared up for what they were doing, as this might have been their occupation at that time. He then tries repeatedly to pry the door open. Now convinced they were thieves, the homeowner activated the two-way communication function. Immediately upon hearing the homeowner speak, the men charged in the opposite direction, making a quick escape. The man was then interviewed by the police. The homeowner later uploaded the disturbing footage on social media, where many people claimed to know who the men were. There has been no confirmation that the two suspects were apprehended.